The other day, Disney released Snow White, and I don't know about you guys, but I was low-key excited to see it. I was excited to see Maleficent, the Queen of Evil, back on our screens, but that excitement was short-lived. You see, Snow White got one of the worst receptions we've ever seen in history. There are hundreds, if not thousands of reviews talking about how bad the film is. Well, all of that got me thinking, can a movie be so bad that it gets banned? Well, it turns out yes it can. You see, a country can ban a movie for something as small as making a joke about a singer, or something as big as threatening to assassinate their president. Well, today I'm going to be watching movies that have been banned, and you may be asking why. You see, some movies are banned for the most stupidest reasons, and it's causing whole nations to miss out on such crucial points of history. Well, I'm going to be watching each movie that's been banned, rating out of 10, and then making the tough decision, do we unban the film or not? I mean, can you imagine, some countries aren't even allowed to watch Shrek 2. So I'm single-handedly going to fix that. And if that wasn't enough, at the end of the video I'm going to be handing out some awards, so make sure you stick around for that. Now first up we have Zoolander. Now Zoolander is banned in Malaysia, and you may be thinking why. Well, the reason is pretty simple. The movie Zoolander is about someone trying to assassinate the Prime Minister of Malaysia. So yeah, to be honest, it kind of makes sense why it's banned. If someone made a movie about trying to assassinate me, you know for a fact I'm banning that. So it's going to be pretty hard to overturn this, but let's give it a go. So the movie is about Derek Zoolander, the world's best male model. Well, he's the best until he comes second place in a beauty contest, and his life just falls apart from that. Well, he ends up losing his job, and he turns into a new career path where he wants to open up a school for ugly people. Well, it turns out that school wasn't even real, and it was just a plot used to brainwash him. You see, it turns out the fashion industry has been behind every single assassination in the world's history, and they've been using male models as they're easier to control. Now they want to use Derek to assassinate the Prime Minister of Malaysia, but long story short, with the power of friendship and love, Derek doesn't do this in the end, and the Prime Minister lives to see another day. But now is a tough question, do we unban the film or not? I mean, overall the film was really good. I really liked the concept of the film. Who would have thought the model industry is behind all assassinations? And there are a lot of strong characters in the film, like Hansel, the rival supermodel that wins the beauty contest and ruins Derek's life. Well, later he turns out to become his best friend and actually stops him from becoming an assassin. And to be honest, the whole film overall was quite funny, but I'm sorry guys, you literally threw a ninja star at the Prime Minister. I don't think there's enough funny scenes for me to overturn this ban. Zoolander, you remain banned. Now next up we have Borat. So Borat is a journalist from Kazakhstan who travels to America to document what life is like over there. Well, this sounds pretty innocent, but it's actually banned in almost all Arab countries, including Kazakhstan, the homeland of Borat. Now the reason for this ban is because of the extremely offensive humour throughout the film, so you know for a fact I'm looking forward to watching this. I've also only ever heard good things about this film, so let's give it a go. Wow, what a movie. So Borat goes to America to learn about the US culture and teach people about Kazakhstan. Now this wasn't just a movie, but some of the scenes in Borat were actually filmed in real life with people not knowing he's an actor. So when he's on the train, he tries to greet someone by giving them 2 kisses and they just start getting mad. Or there's another scene where he tries to give a guy a kiss and he just starts chasing him down the street. I just found the whole structure of the film so cool. Like some of it was scripted, whereas some of it was actual real scenes with real people who don't know who Borat is. Anyways, long story short, Borat travels across America making new friends and learning about American culture. Eventually he goes back to Kazakhstan and tells people about his time there and spreads the word about America. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, while he's in America, he falls in love with an adult star and tries to kidnap her too. The movie overall is full of so many adult jokes, but I can see why the Arab countries are mad. Yes, there are so many jokes, but they've painted Kazakhstan in such a bad light. I mean, if you watch just the first 5 minutes, you'll see what I mean. No matter how funny it was, Borat, I'm gonna have to agree, you remain banned. Now I know that's 2 bans in a row, but I've got a good feeling about the next one. Now we have the Hunger Games. So if you don't know what the Hunger Games are, I'm going to assume you haven't had internet for the past 30 years or you've never read a book. Well, for those of you who haven't, the movie is set in the future and people are selected from each district and dropped into a circle. They then have to loot up and kill each other until only one person remains. Basically, just imagine a Fortnite game in real life. Well, apparently this film is being banned in America, along with the books. Now, America is meant to be the land of free speech, so it's quite surprising it's being banned, but apparently it's being banned for the following 7 reasons. Insensitivity, offensive language, violence, anti-family, anti-ethic, satanic and inserted religious beliefs. As you can see, that's a lot of reasons why it's being banned, but people think it's more to do with the fact that the Hunger Games is based on people turning against the system and overthrowing the government. But it's just a story, right? Surely the US government wouldn't be scared of a story. Now, I've watched the Hunger Games before, so it was really nice rewatching it again. But but to be honest, I kind of forgot how violent it was. It's crazy to think this movie is only rated a PG-13. As for the film overall, it's such a classic and the ending is so great. Basically, the main character Katniss forces there to be 2 winners for the first time in the game's history, which has such big impacts on the later films. Now, it's just one of those films where I can't really explain the story without you watching it, so you really do have to go and watch. But if you do watch it, I guarantee you won't regret it. Also, this literally led to the creation of Minecraft Hunger Games, which was basically my childhood. And let me not even start on Minecraft parodies. But do we unban it? I think it's always important for people to remember we elect and empower the government. And just the fact that the US government wants to ban it makes me want to unban it. So Hunger Games, you are officially unbanned. Next up, we have the 2012 movie. Now, some of you might be too young to remember, but everyone thought the world was going to end in 2012. There was something to do with the Mayan calendar and so many natural disasters leading up to this day. Basically, worldwide, everyone was preparing for the end of the world this day. And even Apple was sending reminders to people's phones saying the world's going to end. But as you know, it's 2025 and the world clearly hasn't ended. But someone thought it would be a cool idea to make a film on what would have happened if the world actually did come to an end. Now, this movie is actually banned in North Korea, and the reason why is kind of funny. So 2012 was meant to mark the 100-year anniversary of the nation's founder, Kim Il-sung. But because everyone thought the world was going to end, they felt like this movie just painted the year in a bad light, and basically was just kind of ruining their celebration. This pissed them off so much that they just banned the movie. To be honest, I can't say I'm surprised. There's rumours that North Korea faked the World Cup results in 2014 to make their people think they won it. And like I said, rumours, please don't sue me. So yeah, this wouldn't be the first time they've changed history. Allegedly. Okay, firstly, I would have wished someone told me the movie was 3 hours long. This felt like the longest movie in the world, and all that happened was the main characters travelled from America to China. So like we mentioned, the world is coming to an end. There's wildfires, earthquakes, and great flooding all throughout the world. Humanity seems doomed, and because of this, people want to escape Earth. So they end up creating spaceships, and rich people can pay to get onto them to leave the world. Now, this smart scientist who predicted all of this a few years ago tries to travel from California to China to get onto the spaceship. He ends up taking a limo, stealing a plane, flying a rich man's plane, and sneaking onto the spaceship. Well, it turns out there weren't even spaceships, but instead they'd made arks. They wanted to stay on Earth and wait till everything blowed over. So the arks are filled with people and animals, and they just wait for everything to calm down. Now, the visual effects of the film was so cool. I can't believe this was made more than a decade ago, but it looks so realistic. The only critique I have is, I just wish the world would have ended. Now, I watched a 3-hour film thinking the world was going to come to an end, but now it just feels like there was a big storm that we're all waiting to go by. It kind of ruined the point of the film. We all thought the world was going to end, but it didn't. But do we unban the film? I think just like there are tribes in Africa that have never seen electricity or drones before, and we leave them to do their thing in peace, we should do the same for North Korea. They've got no idea that the world was going to end in 2012, so maybe we should just let them live in their happiness. I'm going to say, let's keep the film banned and let them enjoy their lives in peace. I mean, it's not like they're missing out much from the movie anyways, the world doesn't even end. Well, you might have thought that ban was weird, well this one might be worse. It turns out Winnie the Pooh is banned in China, and the reason why might make you laugh. So apparently in 2017 there was a meme that was going around comparing Winnie the Pooh to the president of China, Xi Jinping. Now this comparison pissed them off so much, Winnie the Pooh and all the series and movies associated around it are banned in China. Now I would love to make a comparison on screen right now comparing the two, but to be honest, I don't want to start a war with China. So whatever you guys do, do not Google a certain beloved childhood character and a certain political leader and make a comparison. To be honest, I kind of think Winnie the Pooh is overrated anyways. I mean, he doesn't even wear trousers. Yeah, he can stay banned. Now China strikes again with the banning of Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was said to go against their cultural norms and values, and especially because of the name. Well, because of this, DC were even willing to change the name to Special Task Force X, but even after this, China still upheld the ban. Now low-key, Special Task Force X is such a cool name, but there's something so special about Suicide Squad. Now Suicide Squad is another classic film, you've really got to watch it. The US government released a bunch of mutant convicts and send them on a secret mission. And as expected, when you release mutant convicts, nothing's gonna go to plan. It's so cool seeing Margot Robbie in this film, knowing that she later goes and plays Barbie. I mean, the difference between Harley Quinn and Barbie is so crazy, and to know that it's played by the single actor is just mad. Now in this film, there are so many big names and actors like Will Smith, and DC rarely make a good movie, so it'd be so harsh to ban one of their only good ones. Special Task Force X, you are officially unbanned. Now surprisingly, Shrek 2 is actually on this list. I shouldn't even have to explain who Shrek is, so I won't. But in the film, Shrek, Fiona and Donkey go to Fiona's parents' house for dinner. They're not really happy Shrek is an ogre because they don't think ogres deserve a happily ever after. And because of this, there's a huge argument and it causes a big fight between everyone. Well, because of this, Shrek ends up drinking a happily ever after potion, and when he wakes up, him and Fiona are humans. And Donkey is this nice white horse. Now to make this change permanent, Shrek has to kiss Fiona by midnight, but the issue is she's pissed off at him and he can't find her. Now in the middle of all of this, the fairy godmother is trying to set up Fiona with Prince Charming. Long story short, Fiona ends up punching Prince Charming in the face, and everyone goes back to their own forms, living happily ever after. Now you might be wondering, what's wrong with this film to deserve a ban? Well, apparently in the film, Donkey makes a joke about Israeli singer David Dawa, and this led to legal action and the film being banned in Israel. Utter woke nonsense. Unbanned. Next up we have the Human Centipede 2. Now the Human Centipede 2 was actually banned in Australia because it was too graphic and violent. It was banned until they released a new version with cut and blurred scenes. Now interestingly, this film is actually banned in the UK, which is my country, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to watch it. Now next up we have the first anime film of the list, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. Now, I'm not really a big fan of anime, I've only ever watched Dragon Ball and Pokemon, so I was kind of curious to see why this was banned. I mean, it's meant to be a kids show, right? Well, it turns out it's banned in the Bahamas because they find Demon Slayer demonic. To be honest, I personally would count slaying demons as demonic because you'd say that's the opposite, right? Yeah, anyways, I don't know. They also say they find it inappropriate because it's not in English, and they also say it has a bad plot. I mean, come on, if you're gonna ban a film, just give it a random reason. Don't cuss the plot and say it's bad. But do we unban it? Now I know I said I was gonna watch every single show on this list, but I just find people who watch anime so insufferable. Whenever I meet someone, you can kind of tell if they watch anime or not, because they just won't shut up about it. Now look, if one of you guys can give me some good recommendations in the comments, maybe I'll watch anime, but I just don't see it happening. Just because of that, I'm gonna agree with the Bahamas. Demon Slayer, you are banned. Now next up we have Barbie. Now I know we spoke about Barbie earlier, but who would have thought it makes the list? The movie that brought childhood toys to life is actually banned in Algeria. The reason for this is because it doesn't comply with Algeria's cultural and religious beliefs, and it promotes Western values. Now that's not the worst reason the film's been banned today, but I can't say it's the best reason either. Let's watch it for ourselves and find out. So the movie is about a Barbie doll escaping Barbie land because she gets bad breath, cellulite and flat feet. The issue with this is young girls wouldn't want to play with the Barbie doll who has these features. So Barbie escapes to the real world to challenge cultural norms and values. Now while this is happening, Ken also comes to the real world and finds out about patriarchy, and for the first time in his life he feels respected. So he goes back to Barbie land and changes the name of Barbie's house to the Ken Dojo Mojo Dojo house. Sorry, it's the Mojo Dojo Casa house. Now the Barbies aren't happy with this, and eventually they trick the Kens into fighting amongst themselves and take back over Barbie land. The movie is basically about people's journeys through femininity and masculinity and how the real world affects this. Now to be honest, there was nothing crazy going on in this film that could warrant a ban, and I do think there are some cool lessons people can learn from the film, so I'm going to vote unban. Now when Barbie released in 2023, Oppenheimer released on the same day, and there was this big battle between the two films on which one would be better. Surprisingly, both of them have made this list. You see, Oppenheimer is about how the US developed the first atomic bomb in a race with the Soviets and used the bomb against them. So it makes perfect sense as to why Russia's banned the movie. First you drop an atomic bomb on them, then you make a 3-hour masterpiece documenting it. And if that wasn't bad enough, he hires Thomas Shelby as the lead actor. I'm sorry, that would have been enough to start World War III for me personally. I think we should count ourselves lucky the movie just got banned. Now finally, the last movie on our list, Minions: The Rise of Gru. Now this is actually banned in Lebanon, but they don't give an explicit reason as to why it's banned. Now people are suggesting it's banned because there's a scene where a nun uses nunchucks. Yeah, that's a crazy statement, I've got to see this myself. So the movie is set when Gru from the Minions is 11 years old and he wants to take over the world. He ends up interviewing for a gang and ends up stealing a Zodiac stone from them. He gives the Zodiac stones to one of his minions, who ends up trading it away for a pet rock. Gru is so mad that he ends up firing all the minions, and he later gets kidnapped by the same gang he stole from. The gang later tells the minions they have 48 hours to bring back the stone or Gru is gonna get unalived. Because of this, the minions go and learn Kung Fu and then they go and rescue Gru. and they all live happily ever after. Now these small yellow guys are adorable, and I don't know how anyone could ban them. Minions Rise of Gru, you are officially unbanned. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to what seems to be our weekly award ceremony. Tonight I'll be your host and I'll be presenting 3 awards. 1, the most funniest movie. 2, the most stupidest band. And 3, the most underrated film. First up, we have the most funniest movie. Now this weekend was full of laughter and I couldn't stop smiling at the screen. So this is going to be a really hard choice to make, but I think the clear winner is Borat. Borat has been banned for how funny it is, and if you watch the film, you'll probably understand why. Now even though I only rated Borat an 8, I think the humour it had is unmatched. I do wish there was a little less nudity, but Borat, you are the winner of this award. I hope the ban was worth it. Next up, we have an award for the most stupidest ban. Now the whole point of this video was to look at movies and why they've been banned, and it wouldn't make sense if we leave the video without talking about the most stupidest ban. There's no doubt in my mind that Shrek 2 deserves this award. I don't know how a nation can ban a whole movie based on a joke about a singer, not even the country. Shrek 2 was also the most highest rated film of the video, so I think this is a pretty clear stupid ban. Now finally, we have the most underrated movie. Now a lot of these movies I haven't heard of, but I think the clear winner for this is Zoolander. I think the idea that models are behind assassinations is such a cool idea I've never heard of. When I heard the movie was about models, I didn't really think I'd enjoy it, but you should have seen my face when I found out models were assassins. Also bonus point, because the main character in Zoolander is also the main character from Night in the Museum, and that's another 10/10 movie. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have time for today. Please let me know if you agree with the awards or not. If you've watched this far into the video, you must have enjoyed it, so leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.